Welcome to Market Matters. I'm Nadia Hassan together with Charlotte Chong. Happy Monday to everybody. And it's companies in the news. So the reason why we chose this was because everybody knows my love for retail, but I don't know about this kind of retail. We're looking at Parkson Holdings down about 1.87% to RM1.05. So why were they in the news?
So Parkson is actually banking on ongoing rebranding exercise. They are planning to introduce about 35 brands. They are putting in 100 million for this rebranding exercise. The reason why is they know that their earnings are not too appealing. Net loss was at 90.9 million ringgit. Revenue actually went up 5.2% to 859
Yeah, so I
million
think maybe you saw a lot of volume, but because of the competition, they had to drop the prices because let's be really frank, I think the consumer market in Malaysia right now is just dismal. Everybody's finding it harder to buy things.
Let me ask you a question. Do you still go to departmental stores to shop?
So here's the kicker, right? The fact is whether I asked you whether you're loyal to your pump. No, I do not go to department stores anymore. And then when I was thinking about it when we were doing the research for this, actually I went a lot for cosmetics. But now you have things like Sephora. And you have a lot of shops that have their own brands,
Correct.
you know,
like Shumera.
Yeah, exactly. Chanel as well. All of them have their own standalone store. So why go?
Would you still go
exactly to a department store? So I don't know about whether this brand into the 100 million is going to make you hip and cool, because you want to hip and cool kids. Where do? They go to Uniqlo. They go to H&M. Exactly. So that's
coming
the point.
back to the company, they are actually targeting new high street brand from South Korea. These three names, SPAO, Mixo, and Who AU, to achieve first-year sales of 16 million ringgit.
Maybe Who AU stands for Who Are You? Like
probably is the way they pronounce it.
Well, anyway, if you go to their website, by the way, you can see the pictures. They're all actually kind of cute. But I think going the Korean route does have its merit. That means you are listening to your audience in a way and giving them more of what they want. I don't know. I think if I go to a department store, I'd go for maybe kitchenware. You know, like maybe if I needed a toaster or, you know, some other stuff. So you wonder whether or not this rebranding, will it make you any more hip? Will it make you any more cool?
For me, I don't go to departmental stores anymore.
Yeah.
Well, this company, they are going to continue aggressive expansion in Southeast Asia, not just in Malaysia. They have presence in Indonesia, Cambodia, and Myanmar, and they are aiming to open another 10 new stores in 2016, next year.
Well, the stock does not believe that. Definitely the share price has fallen from more than 52% from 220 at the beginning of the year. Talk about quite a fall from grace. Obviously, I think as retail segment has gotten worse, people, do they still go back to these big department stores? And actually, the few that I still see has, Aeon is one of them. Parkson, yes, I do actually see people go to Parkson because they do have slightly more high-end and they bring in some of the more quirky kind of stuff. Robinson's, I think, is just having it tough. Tang's actually, of course, closed down.
Marks and Spencer.
Well, Marks and Spencer's not really that kind of store, but, you know, Tang's and Metro Jaya, I think they're all finding it very tough.
I think the company is aware of the slowdown of this retail segment. That's why they want to enter into shopping malls. They want to buy over shopping malls. And they say they are going to, you know, own these 10 shopping malls in 10 years' time. That's their target. Well,
that's a big aim to do. But anyway, so just to bring it all home, basically Parkson says they're going to, as part of their ongoing effort, add another 100 brands to its portfolio. However, sentiment in Malaysia is very, very weak as it comes to shopping, so we'll have to see whether or not that actually kind of works. But the share price has pretty much suffered. Moving on, of course, to our Insider Asia stock of the day, and it's continuing on with the trend of food. So they've gone through the frozen guys, which is Kawan Food. They've gone through seasonings, which is Ajinomoto. They've gone to Madhood enhancing coffee, which is Power Root. Hence, no surprise that they look at the granddaddy of this section.
So this is the huge hint. What is this?
Well, actually, you're looking at your milk. Essentially, this is, yes, basically you're looking at Dutch Lady. So Dutch Lady, in general, is what they're choosing for their exposure to this sector. Because, okay, there are other people they considered. They considered FNN, they considered Nestle, and they considered Dutch Lady. So I'm not surprised they picked Dutch Lady because, you know...
Actually, IA, Insider Asia, they like this company. They actually prefer this company compared with its peers, Nestle and FNN, because they say this company has reported, you know, steady growth between FY 2005 and FY 2014. So it's a long period of time.
Yeah, exactly. So they say compared with like REITs, compared with utility and tobacco, I think this one you can buy and not feel so guilty about because you're essentially doing an infant milk powder. And of course, they have that happy thing where their raw material has dropped, the cost has dropped substantially, right? What else do they like?
They say, well, okay, compared with, like what you say, compared with REIT utility, they have better long-term earnings growth potential and driven by the country's economy and population growth. And also one more thing, people are more aware of what they are consuming. That's why people are turning into
Sorry, I
healthy
actually
foods.
really like this milk, so just let her talk.
Healthy foods like this.
Okay. Just a joke aside, these guys, I think, are protected by what they call a huge economic moat, and they're not building things. Basically, essentially what they're doing is that it's very hard to get into the business. Food is so fickle, yes, but we tend to trust certain brands above everything. If I were to give you a Coke, you would know what that Coke would taste like.
Yeah,
you wouldn't
of course.
expect it to taste any different. Same thing with these guys. And here's the thing I like about Dutch Lady compared to everybody else, never mind that they all put sugary in their food. They supply an infant baby milk, correct? And adults and parents, even if they skimp on themselves, yes, I will not buy this, I will not go to Parkson or whatever. They will not
still drink.
not that they will consume. They will still give it to their children. They will still buy the best that they can for the children, unless they're really bad parents and deserve to die. But yes, you know, they will still spend on their children.
Now we know that actually Dutch Lady is the smallest compared with its peer F&N and Nestle. Now they have more room to grow because they have smaller market share and they have highest dividend yield compared with two others. Their dividend yield is at 4.6% compared with its peer.
Okay.
So it's pretty attractive in that way.
Yes, but saying that, still, how much was the share price again? 47 and 70 ringgit, down about 0.13%. It's not something everybody can buy. Let's be really honest.
Very
but
expensive.
if you want one of these in your portfolio, I suppose you can't go wrong with Dutch Lady. But just anyway, just to sort of wrap it up, Inside Asia stock of the day as part of its food series is a Dutch Lady, Dutch Lady Milk Industries Bhd. Why do they like it? Simple. They think the costs have gone down for the company. They think the company is resilient. Actually, if you opened a dictionary and looked at the words defensive company, you'd see something like Dutch Lady next to it, right next to the word donkey for Donald Trump. But anyways, besides that point, and after that, they would actually, of course, being the smallest of the three, there's more room for them to kind of grow. But that's all for us from here on Market Matters. I'm Nadia Hassan, together with Charlotte Chong. For more on the stories, please go to theedgemarkets.com or pick up a physical copy of 2 of the papers, either the Financial Daily or the Weekly. Good night, guys. Have a good start to your week.